I think we all need at least one USB power bank in our lives. And I've got quite a few of them. And you need them for charging your phone, your tablet, and if it's powerful enough, to charge and run your laptop. But for the last couple of weeks, I've been using this new power bank from CUKTECH, the P+Series, rated at 40,000 mAh and a massive 300 watts. And I think it's just about the only portable charging bank that you're ever going to need. Hello, and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. If you're anything like me, you'll have loads of different USB power banks, and I think most people have got at least one. You start off with something conveniently pocket-sized, like this, and eventually you get so reliant on them, you need more capacity and more power. Maybe something like this 20-watt brick that I carry around with me most days to charge not only my phone, but also my RC controllers and drone batteries, so I can get the most time I can flying. Basically, so I know I've got enough power for the day. And that means I've eventually ended up with this 300 watt monster that lasts for ages but weighs about 10 kilos and takes forever to charge, so it's hardly convenient. As well as power, you need something that covers all the different charging protocols used in the latest devices. There's USB-A, USB-C, quick charge with all the different voltages up to 28 volts for the latest 120 watt hypercharge devices like the new Xiaomi 13 phone. And of course you need wireless charging, as well as not taking ages to charge up. And it needs to be a sensible size. This CUKTECH P+Series does all that. 300 watts of power in this fantastic little box that looks like it was sort of designed by Apple. Now this is so new, I can't even tell you how much it costs. This was originally a crowdfunding project on Indiegogo, and they've just started to deliver them to their investors. And they reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was intrigued to see if this spec was even possible. But it is, and it's so good. I've been using this for everything that I can for the last 2 weeks, and it works perfectly. Even my 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 was being powered by this while I edited this video. Let's have a closer look at this. Because this is video, you obviously can't touch anything, so you'll have to take my word for it that the design and the build quality of this is outstanding. And to be honest, if it had an Apple logo on it, you wouldn't be at all surprised. And although this case is plastic, it's got the look and feel of brushed aluminium. On the front here, there's a large display that shows you the remaining charge and the input and the output power being delivered. And there's a couple of USB-A ports here, and then in the middle there's 2 USB-C ports, and these look quite ordinary, but there's some real magic here that I'll cover in a minute. On the back, there's a PWM fan, and that simply means it doesn't run at one speed. The speed of this changes depending on the power being used and the heat dissipation required. And there's a couple of cooling slots along the bottom here, and this really nice non-slip pad to stop it scooting all over the desk. On the top, you've got a wireless charging pad that's an impressive 20 watts, and there's another couple of non-slip pads here to stop your phone falling off. Now, like most power banks, this turns on when you plug something in, but there's a small button here that you can just press and it will show you how much charge is left. And if you double press it, then this goes into low power mode if you're charging something like Bluetooth headphones or a tracker or something like that. And as well as charging, this is a dual USB hub, as you can see there when you're using these USB-A ports. Very clever. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but the real magic is in these two ports here. The first port is USB type A1, which delivers between 5 volts at 3 amps and 10 volts at 2.25 amps, so that's 22.5 watts max. And the second port is USB type C1, and this gives you 5 volts at 3 amps up to 20 volts at 5 amps, and that's 100 watts maximum. The third port is USB type C2, and that's a PD 3.1 protocol, and that delivers 5 volts at 3 amps right up to 28 volts at 5 amps, and that's a whopping 140 watts max. And this last port is USB type A2, that will deliver between 5 volts at 3 amps and 20 volts at 6 amps, and that's a maximum of 120 watts. Now, if that's not enough, these middle two USB-C ports are bidirectional, so this is where you plug a charger in to charge this up. The left-hand USB-C1 port can charge this at 5 volts at 3 amps up to 20 volts at 5 amps, and the right-hand port is a type C2 USB, which can charge between 5 volts at 3 amps right up to an impressive 28 volts at 5 amps. There's no buttons or switches to set anything on here. You just plug your devices in and it negotiates to agree what voltage and current the device needs, and it just starts charging at whatever power is required. Now, this negotiation happens on other power banks as well, because it's all part of the newer PD quick charge protocol. But what makes this different is this 140 watt USB C2 port, and more importantly, both these USB-C ports are bidirectional. They're inputs for charging this and outputs to charge things up. So what does this mean in reality? Well, this will charge an iPhone 13 Pro Max to 55% in 30 minutes. Or you can charge a MacBook Pro 16M1 like this at the full 140 watts. And if you've got something like the new Xiaomi 13 Pro phone that supports the latest hypercharge protocol, you can charge it to 100% in less than 20 minutes. Let's plug some things in here and see how this works. I've got some Avata batteries here. Let's plug this into the big port there, C2 port. Negotiation will start, and yeah, this is fast charging now. So just creeping up. Let's plug something else in as well. I've got a DJI controller here. Plug that into this port here, and yeah, that's fast charging already. All good. And these are still charging, that's okay, and this power output is creeping up slowly, up to about 80 watts. What else have I got here? I've got another USB battery. This is for my goggles. Let's plug that one in there. Hopefully that should fast charge. Oh no, it can't fast charge because it's on the USB-A port. So we're up to what, 110 watts output. What else? Got this battery pack. I know this will quick charge, but it's not going to won't quick charge on that USB-A port. There we go. I mean, it's quite difficult to get 300 watts out of this, but you can see it's pretty easy to use. Fantastic. Now, there's a lot of power squeezed into this small box. Inside here there's 8 21700 size lithium cells, very similar to this one, and these are exactly the same type of cells that Tesla use in their cars, and the reason for that is they give you about the best power per size per dollar at the moment. So with all that potential energy, is this safe? Well, the case is V0 certified flame retardant, and there's circuitry built into here for short circuit, over temperature and over current protection. And the fan on the back keeps everything nice and cool. And in the 2 weeks I've been using this, the fan's only come on once while I was using my MacBook Pro for an extended video editing session, and it's not particularly noisy or intrusive. So as I said at the top, there's nothing this powerhouse doesn't do, and I put it through a lot of real-world testing in the last couple of weeks. It just works as an awesome portable power bank that's extremely practical, and they've even made sure the rated 141 watt battery energy is what most airlines will allow on board, so it's great for travelling as well. All in all, it's so refreshing to come across an Indiegogo project that's not only succeeded but also exceeded expectations. I'm extremely grateful to CUKTECH for providing me with the opportunity to use and review this exceptional product. And you'll find links to CUKTECH in the video description. And once I get the scoop on the price and availability, I'll make sure to share it on my channel's community page and usual socials. That's all for now. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the like button. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.